A lot of my patients I see in clinic have lower back pain. In my opinion, one of the main causes of lower back pain is that the muscles are either too tight or too weak, mainly because of the way we work throughout the day, or mainly because of the way we move throughout the day. A lot of us just simply aren't getting enough movement. Our muscles become tight and stiff. Then as you start to move or pick things up, if you've become weaker, then those muscles will eventually lock up and cause you pain. A simple solution to a lot of musculoskeletal back pain is simply to stretch more, move more, and strengthen those muscles. So right now, I'm going to show you some simple solutions to help loosen up some tight muscles within your lower back and muscles around the lower back. Now, just because you have lower back pain doesn't mean that your back pain is solely coming from where you feel it. A lot of my patients have tightness not only in their lower back, but in their hips, their buttocks, their hamstrings, their hip flexors, quads, everywhere around their lower back tends to be tight. So if you're trying to relieve lower back pain, you want to make sure you're working yourself as a whole. Work around the lower back, into the buttocks, glutes, hamstrings, quads, hip flexors, and so on. So don't just treat it as one particular area, try and treat everything. So if we're going to start with trying to help some lower back pain, I personally like to start with the 12-inch roller. The first thing you might want to do is just try and get some traction and some stretch through the lower back. So what I'm going to do, position myself on the 12-inch roller, lift my hips and allow myself to come over as I stretch out my legs. If you want, you can bring your hands up for more stability and just try and let yourself completely stretch out over the roller. Once you're in this position, try and stay here and just breathe. This should be in your lower back and it should not be causing you pain. You can lie here for 10 seconds or up to something like a minute. Once you've done this, bring yourself back in by bending your legs and rolling yourself back down over the roller. From there, what you could do is try and massage into the lower back muscles. So I would start with my arms across my chest just to keep my arms out of the way, bring myself into a crunch type position and push myself up along the roller and down, using my legs to push up and down. From here, what you could do is find a point that feels a bit tight and try and bend over and then up. If you want to go a bit lower down, that's fine, go down and crunch back up. You could do this, say 5 to 10 times, and then move on to the next position. So the next one I would go into would probably be to work my quads. So I would go from here onto the 9-inch roller, one quad at a time, starting at the top of the thigh and rolling along, trying to find a point which is tender. Now, once I've found a tender point, I'm just going to work on that point for a while, put some pressure down, maybe holding, or you can relieve some of that pressure and just go for a lighter type massage by going up and down. From here, for that tender point, I might try and flex my knee up and down and repeat all the way down the quad, trying to find those tender points, also going onto the outside of the quad. And you could, if you want, go onto the hip, the IT band. Really what you have to do here is try and find those areas that are tight and a little bit painful and work those areas. From there, what I might do is go into working my hamstrings. So for all of these, if it's a single leg exercise like the quad or the hamstring, make sure you do both sides. So now onto the hamstring, position that just below the knee and roll over, forwards and backwards. You could do this 5 to 10 times, working the inside of your hamstring and working the outside of your hamstring. So this is like self-massage right now. If I need to go higher, I can reposition that roller and work the higher part of my hamstring. You could then also use the roller to grip yourself in place I'm just going to lock my hands under or through the roller and try and straighten and relax that leg. So this is pinning the hamstring in place and really testing that flexibility of the hamstring. You can change position. And again, you could do that 5 to 10 times on both sides. Another thing you could work is your adductors. To do this, you would need to have the roller so that it can roll side to side in relation to you. Come to the side of the roller, bring the roller onto the inside of your thigh and roll sideways. I would do that 5 to 10 times. Then you could go on to working your hip muscles. So to do that, I would use a smaller roller, position it underneath my hips. So it's just above the bony part of your thigh, but below your hip, your pelvic bone. So I would have a straight leg. The top leg I would have in front just for support. And then try and find those tender, tight points in the hip muscles. Once you find a tender point, try and relax onto the roller. And what you could do is roll slightly onto the point and off the point. Once you find a particular painful point, just hold. And then after about 30 seconds, then you can roll onto another point and again hold that position. From there, what I might do is work into my glutes. So bottom leg, or the leg that you're on the roller on, I would have maybe just out in front of me, but relaxed. Try and roll over the roller, finding those tender points again. When you find a tender point, just stay on that point, put some pressure down, relax. And then from there, you can move just slightly on and off, just to really work that point.